Hello beautiful souls, welcome to another video. It's been quite a bit of time since I've been last on here. To be quite honest, I've been kind of at a loss for words as to what I could possibly share that, you can't find somewhere else. But right before I clicked record, after going around and around about it in my head, what I heard was, what do you need most right now? So that is literally going to be the purpose in which I shuffle all these cards. So you may get a message that resonates with you, you may not. I have 3 decks here in front of me. I may pull some more, but yeah, universe, what does this person need to hear or to feel or to know right now? All right, what do you need to know right now? Okay, this is, call it my cannabis deck. I don't actually remember the specific name for it, but the design is kind of like this. I'll see if I can find it. But 3 cards popped out here, so any number of these can be something that resonates with you. And I'm not going to go too much into meanings. I'm going to, unless something comes up, but I will let you interpret as you feel guided to. If something grabs your attention, then pay attention to it, pause the video. If not, keep going. But I don't want to say that this is a reading. It's really for you to decipher as you need. So the first card we have is Abracadabra, connect. So you may feel special connection to Abracadabra as a word. It has ties to magic. Any like early movies, the magic words to make something happen was Abracadabra. We have a cannabis leaf that's being shown here, kind of like a salve being opened or an ointment with the cannabis leaf. Cannabis leaf might have significance with you. I was just drawn to my tattoo of Osset, or Isis, who one of her sacred plants is cannabis. So you may feel called to work with Isis. I call her Osset, but for, her, I guess, Western name is Isis. You may feel called to connect with Isis in this time. I've come to know her as like a divine mother energy. Kind of all my tattoos and all my goddesses that I deeply connect with all have mother energy. So Abracadabra, connect. I just placed that connect is a word here. So once again, you might feel called to connect with Isis, or connect deeper with the magical realm, the spiritual realm, or to connect via cannabis if you partake. I personally use it kind of ceremoniously for myself. The last time I used it was in a time of grieving for a friend. So again, you may be using it specifically, you may be called to use it in a ceremonious or significant way where you're calling upon your god or your goddess or whoever to give you meaning or give you answers. So this is the first card. The second card is Oshun, justice. Okay, so you may feel connected with Oshun, specifically as a goddess. I don't want to go too far. I know she's connected with African spirituality, and I know she's tied to like waters, like healing waters, also beauty, and she's a very sacred and powerful energy. She gives the energy of like, I'm hearing like perseverance, breakthrough, but those aren't quite the words I'm looking for. It's like quiet, patience, but like underneath something is happening, but she is staying strong in the midst of it. I guess perseverance. You may feel an energy specifically connected to her, and I'll try to show this card a little bit better. She has a sword in her hand. You know, she's surrounded by water, so you may feel a call to water energy at this time. There's an energy of like righteousness, and the card says justice. So justice. Someone may feel a sense of justice or a need for justice for even what is happening in the world right now, but maybe there's something in your own life that you need justice for. So again, whether you feel the need to connect to Oshun or to kind of call upon her energy, I think the word I'm thinking of, or the energy I'm thinking of, is kind of karmic. Kind of like someone who is silently watching and seeing, you know, all the injustice that is coming into play, and kind of like anger, like righteous anger, but wanting to, again, bring about justice. As I said that, I was thinking of Sekhmet, who I have on my right arm. So you may feel called to look into Oshun or Sekhmet or Aset/Isis. Alright, and the next one we have is Nana Baruku Essence. She definitely gives divine energy, divine mother energy again. So that's, personally for me, that's coming through a lot with all of these cards. Whether you resonate with one of them or all of them, definitely let me know down below. You have the sun and the moon. Nope, not the moon. We have the sun, and then it is sun and moon actually, but there are, I don't know if it's gonna pick up on the camera, but there are two women here as well. She's holding a dagger and a kind of like an urn. Her attire is very like royal or like higher status to me. You may see this and interpret something else, but again, it gives this energy of karma and justice. I do apologize if this seems like a more passive reading, but again, I feel like I'm not meant to put myself too much into this as I normally do. So once again, we have Abracadabra, Connect, Oshun, Justice, and Nana Baruku, Essence. Essence. Power. Maybe you are being called to tie into the power within, connect to the power within. It also has the energy of ancestors. So for some of you, you may be feeling a deeper call to connect with your ancestors or a specific ancestor. But there's this energy of protection, knowing that you are divinely protected by your family, tribe, your ancestors, your spirit guides, those who've come before you. They are protecting you on your journey, protecting you on what is to come next. This sense of justice that you may be feeling, I just said I wasn't going to interpret, but the sense of justice that you are needing, just know that you're being heard, and there is kind of a protection and a spiritual working going on in the background, and also in regards to the earth, in regards to what's happening right now, as of June 25th, 2025. I have this energy of the earth in the terms of a mother. I'm remembering from the Bible The phrase of like Rachel weeping for her children. I just kind of saw this, or felt this energy of the blood that has been spilled on this earth into the soil, calling out, kind of like Cain and Abel when God says, I can hear the blood of your brother calling out to me. There has been bloodshed on this earth for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. I feel like emotional thinking about this, and there's a recompense that feels like it's coming. There's a sorrow. I feel, we, especially in this space, this like spiritual community, there's this sense of like spreading light and positivity, and we're talking about the new earth, we're talking about, these rapid changes, 5D, all these things, and in the midst of it, coming down to it, there's also like the echoes of a mother crying for her children, mourning, wailing, weeping for her children. The blood that is being spilt on this earth is unnecessary, for one, but there's like I think this is the energy I was feeling with Oshun's card, an energy of like quiet, quaking, quivering sadness and grief, but also anger. So yeah, you may resonate with that, or again within your own life, but I feel like the energy of all those who have come before us are calling out. I can't quite explain this because I consider myself an eclectic person. I have many ranges of beliefs. I kind of like mesh many different cultures and ideas together, and to me it makes sense, but to someone watching for the first time, or even just, it might be really confusing to hear me reference like Egyptian gods and goddesses, but also talking about scriptures. I was raised predominantly Christian, well, only Christian, and all my ideologies since then have diverged into different places. It has brought me to Kemetic spirituality, but there are times when I'm doing readings that I will recall certain passages from the Bible, and I believe it's for a significant reason, right? So take it with a grain of salt. This next deck is a kind of like fairy forest deck. So I will shuffle this. Again, I'll pull 3 cards. So what do you need to know right now? Okay, well, 3 cards did fall out. I don't know how. 4 cards. Let me reshuffle that one more time. What is the collective, the person watching, need to know right now? Okay, here's 1 card. It's very different energy from what I just pulled. What does this person need to know right now? Anything else? Okay. Honestly, okay, we're just gonna go with the card that fell out already, I suppose. There's like cards that are being stuck together that are falling out, which I don't really. So we have bliss here. Bliss. Contentment, satisfaction, security. Perhaps you can see this as the energy that you should be embodying right now, in spite of everything going on around us. which is very difficult to say. It might be difficult to feel like that, but it's like in order to keep yourself from spiraling or going into a dark place, there's this level of serenity to maintain. I will share these two other cards that came out. So we have the Golden Unicorn, Protection, Guardian, Champion. So I guess the energy of bliss, while knowing that you are being protected, you are protected. And we have Initiate, Curiosity, Open, Warm. Okay. I feel the need to say that wherever you are in your journey, that again, there's like two sides to the spiritual community, where one side is very much about love and light, and in a way, a level of dissociation from what is happening around us. And the other side, I think it's like seeing what is happening, but trying to maintain your energy. And it's a difficult place to be because, we should know what is going on around us and empathize and help where we can. But there's also the sense of maintaining our own vibration, sending out love, trying to remain in an energy of, I guess, just love for ourselves, in hopes that we can all raise the vibration of the planet. I have stepped away from like tarot because when I do tarot or have done tarot in the past, I have really wanted to be a positive light and encouragement, and that is always going to be my goal. But in light of everything that is currently happening, it's like there has to be a balance where you are aware and you feel those there are no such things as negative feelings. Anger is not negative. Sadness and grief and mourning is not a negative feeling. It is sacred in and of itself. And I feel that for us to weep with the earth, for us to grieve at the lives that are being lost, and the people who are being abducted and taken and sent away, people who are being kidnapped and trafficked, those are things that are very real issues that we should feel deeply for. And yet we must transmute that and return to a state of stillness for ourselves, for our own sake. And I think one of the biggest things is to, again, not to see those maybe darker aspects or darker emotions as being something to avoid or something to stray away from because it lowers our vibration. What lowers our vibration is staying in a place of darkness with evil intention and evil thoughts. And by evil thoughts, I mean staying in a place of depression, and I don't mean that in terms of like the medical depression, but like that willingness to stay in that dark place and not wanting to see anything light in the midst of it. It's important to maintain a balance of feeling, but coming back to even just neutral. Not necessarily having to be overly joyous, overly happy. If you feel the need to be, then so be it. But I feel like it's crucial to understand that it's okay to be at baseline. We fluctuate. We're meant to fluctuate. We're meant to feel. But you don't have to be at one extreme or the other. You can feel and experience those feelings at every point and then return to baseline. And it's neither positive or negative. It's not depression or joy. It's just stillness. And I personally I feel fine with that. I don't think any of us are meant to exist only at one extreme or another. We are meant to feel and transmute that. I've seen a lot of people using the feelings that are coming up in this time to create art or to advocate or to create poetry. And it's like, how are you going to transmute this energy that you're feeling? This video is already longer than I wanted it to be. I have one more deck. One more deck. Okay. What does this person who's watching need to know right now? Okay, we have Dragon and Power, which I'll show you the card in just a moment. What does this person need to know right now? What does this person need to know right now? I feel like with the Dragon Power card, there's a sense of recognizing your inner power, which came up earlier with the Nana Baruku card. Inner power, recognizing your own power in this time. So I'll show you this card. You can probably see the dragon, and there's a woman down here. Actually, I feel called to get my Dark Mirror Oracle, which is if you've seen me use it before, you know it's a much darker deck, but I feel a call to it. And I personally gravitate towards the darker themes because, I don't know, in this life, it feels, for me personally, it feels like a disservice to stay only on one spectrum. I think there's a lot of beauty in darkness and in recognizing darkness and in experiencing the darkness. That is where transformation occurs. Although I'm not finding the deck that I'm looking for. It's a very small deck, and yet it's not. Okay, maybe I was just meant to mention it. Dark Mirror Oracle. It's quite literally like a darker theme of cards. It's meant as a way to look at your shadows, look in your inner world. I have all my cards right here, and yet it's not jumping out to me right now. Maybe you might feel called to do shadow work. To explore some deeper aspects of yourself, even as things are happening around us. I am very perplexed that I cannot find it, because all my decks should be right here. That's strange. Very, very strange. I guarantee, like, once I've finished the video, I'll find it. But yeah, you might feel called to do some shadow work. I'm trying to think of is there any particular card that I saw. Oh my gosh. It's literally right there. It's literally right there. That might be a message for someone. Maybe you're looking so hard for something, searching so intensely for something, but it's literally right in front of you. This energy has been coming up for me today. There might be something that you have been attaching to kind of obsessively, and there's a sense of detaching from it. This instruction to detach so that you can see more clearly. Even in terms of what's going on in the world, a sense of, yes, being aware, but distancing yourself to see the bigger picture, or to allow, spirit to give you more revelation about what is going on behind the scenes. I have found that Instagram very quickly for me, once you see one post, you kind of start seeing all of them, and I don't know about anyone else, but for me, it really brings my energy very low to see, maybe more than one or two posts about kind of world news and world events. I think it's also important to recognize that everyone has a different way of processing, but also different purpose, right? So there are those on this planet that are equipped to be advocates, to be the voices for our generation. There are those who are equipped with the strength to speak up and to speak out about certain things and to stand up against. And there are those who move in the shadows. I believe everyone has a different purpose in the way that they show up. And it's important to recognize that, although, for example, you might be an advocate and you may be someone who, shares and speaks up, don't belittle those who don't. Don't see them as less than because they choose not to say anything. There are those who are kind of soldiers in a different light, where they literally stay in a positive vibration in order to maintain the frequency of this earth at a certain level. And I respect that. I respect those who remain in the energy of neutrality. I feel like I'm somewhat of that. Not neutrality in terms of disinterest, but why am I talking about this? But the sense of everyone has a place where they are in this world, and these events of how they feel. But try not to judge too harshly if you feel like someone else is not doing enough. Okay, so we have the Dark Mirror Oracle right here. So I'm gonna just shuffle it and see what comes out. Ooh, let it go. Okay, everything comes out. Everything comes out. That feels significant. Kind of like the idea of there's gonna be a shakeup where everything becomes revealed. That sentence does not make sense. Everything comes out, everything comes to light. I have this card that came out, Naked Before the Stars. Again, this energy of everything coming to light. We have this Addicted card that came out. Addicted. With the Addicted card, it feels like self-affliction. I guess another side of what I was saying before of, you know, those who maintain different vibrations, be careful not to become so overly addicted with knowing every single thing that is happening, because that is painful. Know when to step away. Know when to come into your own space and your own vibration once more. I've heard it said time and time again, human beings were not meant to know what is going on every single day or every single hour of every single day across the globe. So I want to implore you to not feed in too much to the news and social media. Like, don't become so obsessed with knowing every single step and every single thing. For your own mental health, know when to step away, know when to distance yourself. At this point, I'm at a point where I would rather go on social media once a week to get a rundown, I guess, of what has happened, than to log in every single day and see yet another thing. Because every time I log on, it honestly feels like here's yet another situation, yet another upheaval, yet another painful thing to witness at this stage in humanity. I do just want to share this. I didn't want to put myself at the forefront of this reading or video. I didn't even want to make this video, but I've been feeling called to it for months to just pick up the camera. But my thoughts when I first recorded this, or thought of recording this type of video, any kind of tarot or oracle reading or any kind of reading, was it is cruel to expect me or anyone to come forward with positivity right now. I said this to my guides. It is cruel to expect me to encourage others to stay in their energy and to focus on self-care. It feels cruel. But then when you realize that the universe is neutral, like, we feel deeply because we're in the midst of this, but if you were to zoom, you know, like in those movies where they zoom out to show you the whole universe, it's like if you were to zoom out all the way past Earth, past the solar system, just looking at the vast expanse of stars and planets, it's all neutral. There's no indication of what's going on this planet from that far out. And there's no good or evil, there's no pain or joy, it just is, right? And I have personally been in this space where, you know, I've been guided to take some steps pursuing higher education. Yet again, life took a detour and somehow the universe has brought me right back here. And so I've been in this energy of focusing on my future. Quite literally, my mind has been in next year for the past like 2-3 weeks, planning and theorizing and questioning and wondering, like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to pay for this? You know, it requires a big move. It requires applying for said graduate school, and it requires graduating from my current program, all these things. And then I see what has happened in just a few short 24 or 48 hours ago, and it's like, what is that all for? And it's the situation is that, you know, my spirit guide, spirit has given me this direction and given me this next point in my own life of what to do next and where I'm going next. And I've really just been in this place the past 24 hours of like, what even is the purpose of that? I have a level of faith that when spirit has given me an instruction for something, that thing is going to happen, right? So for me, there's no ifs, ands, or buts that I am going to go there. I'm going to move to that place. I'm going to go to that school. I'm going to do that because it's been instructed for me to do that, and therefore it must happen. That's just my relationship with spirit at this point. And yet, if I were to stay in the vibration of here and now completely, it's like that is impossible. There's no way we'll even make it past, you know, this month. There's no way we make it to the end of this month, let alone to next year. And I feel like this might be significant for anyone who's even watching at 37 minutes. But it's this energy of, if you stay only in the here and now, as much as we like to say to be present, if you have nothing else to look forward to, this right now is going to crush you. It is going to feel like the worst time ever, and you will never be able to see beyond this point if you focus only on the here and now. I believe that the instructions that I've received in the past month, 2 months, are necessary for me, because if I were to keep scrolling on social media, I would be depressed. I would not want to wake up at all. Each morning there would be no point, because I would see this and everything that's happening around me as the end. There's no way I want to endure or be a part of this. Again, for me personally. And so it was necessary, I think, and Spirit knows, like, it was necessary to give me this next step so I could have something to look forward to. And if you do not have that yet, if there's nothing happening in your life or nothing that you can look forward to, ask for direction. Literally, direction. Ask for next steps in your life. Ask for what is to come. Shortly before I got these kind of revelations, for me it kind of happens where one thing comes up and I have the choice to say yes or no to that. I usually say yes at this point in my life. And then when I say yes, I find that every step after that, or 1 or 2 steps after that, becomes more visible. I'll expand. So currently I'm about to go to my last year of college. For those who don't know, I took like a 2-year break when I reached my final year of college. Not really fully my choice. But it was necessary, and I can understand that now, because I was quite literally kind of redirected and brought into a space of understanding about health and Basically, I've gone from one part of healthcare as a goal to another part of healthcare, and it aligns a lot more. And I've grown as a person in order to go into this next phase. But basically, I said yes to going back to school to finish my degree. And once I said yes to that, the next thing was Spirit showing me where to go to after that. And that in itself has given me life and purpose in a time where I was quite willing to dissociate and just go with the flow for however much longer I needed to. Before that, though, I was at a point where I recognized that I don't have anything to believe in that I have nothing in my life that required faith to propel me forward. Without faith in my life, I am just at baseline, but in a negative way. I'm in a place where I just go through the motions and I dissociate, and there's no reason for me to be present in life at all. And so very quickly after that, after I made that realization that there's nothing requiring faith in my life to keep me going, that again, suddenly I had things to require faith for. Getting accepted into school, having all my transfer credits or most of my transfer credits go through, believing for a new job position that would align with my schedule to make it easier for me to study, and having a purpose beyond graduating. So all those things kind of fell into place for me one by one once I opened myself up to it. Long story short, length and breadth of it is to find something to believe in, find something to propel you forward in the midst of these times that we are in. And in the midst of that, don't just focus on the here and now, but the beyond. I find that the beyond is what keeps me going, and I hope you can find something beyond all this that keeps you going. So yeah, definitely like and subscribe and comments. I hope this helps someone. This doesn't feel like the video I intended to do, but I honestly just had to let go. Right before this video, I had to let go, and if it turns out that no one watches it, so be it. If it turns out that it helps someone, so be it. I am but a willing vessel. So I hope you have a great day. Until next time, hopefully soon. Usually once I start recording again, I usually get back into a groove, and I keep going.